So every time you go on the web, you stream some videos, read some articles, sometimes just email or do other things. But in reality, what is the internet? The internet is basically a series of computers around the globe that connect to each other. And they talk to each other by using something called IP protocols. IP, just IP. You use something called IP to talk to each other. And this IP allows them to talk to each other on the same language and same basis, so you don't have any confusion. The internet, let's just say you're from your home and you want to go to, let's say, youtube.com or something. All you're doing is you're sending a request to YouTube saying, hey, I want this video. YouTube in turn sends back the amount of video you want. Now, let's go to the concept of Wi-Fi. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi, or I can't find your Wi-Fi. Well, Wi-Fi is sort of a misused term here and there. Wi-Fi doesn't necessarily mean you have to connect to the internet. For example, within your home, there can be a network of computers that are connected to each other, just in your home or office. They connect to each other and they might share files, videos, chat messages, etc. This is also how your printer gets your prints. They're all connected to the same thing called a router. And you can think of a router as your central hub. In the router, your printer or whatever is waiting to get prints to be done. Your computer sends your request to the router, and your router sends it to your printer. So they're all connected to the same network, but some networks do not connect to the internet right here. Some networks are just restricted in this area. Now let's just say you want to connect to the internet. Well, how does that work? When you want to connect to the internet, you're going to talk to your router. And you're going to say to your router, I want to visit, let's just say, CNN.com. And your router's like, okay, I'll give you access to that. And it talks to another computer, and a computer in Atlanta at CNN headquarters, so CNN.com. Now, how does the router know to go to CNN.com? Well, it does something called a DNS lookup. DNS lookup is basically translating a web address, let's just say www.example.com, for an IP address. 192.168 is an example of an IP address. This is the default IP address. And basically what this does, it allows this computer to talk to CNN computer saying, hey, I want my stuff, and CNN will return back things. Now, most of you guys are probably like, hey, sometimes I can't connect to my Wi-Fi, or sometimes I'm just having trouble streaming videos or something. Well, there are a variety of things that can happen. Let's go first to slow Wi-Fi, a problem that a lot of us have. Slow Wi-Fi can occur when multiple computers talk to the same router at the same time, sending large amounts of information. This can slow you down. So when I have let's just say a new device that wants to connect, this router is like, hey, I can't connect because I'm too busy. In the same way, this can happen on a large scale style world too. For example, if I have a router, let's just say CNN.com, and a lot of computers are talking to it, it doesn't know how to handle these requests and often will crash. However, companies are smart these days by distributing their servers across the world, like Google, for example. Instead of Silicon Valley being the only server there, they put servers in Europe, China, and other places too. This allows their networks to be distributed. Another problem you guys might be thinking is, well, I can't connect to my own Wi-Fi, but I'm the only device. Well, how does that even work? Well, there's something called a gateway in your Wi-Fi. Imagine your gateway is this. Here's my network. Let's use a school as an analogy. Here's a school. Here's a gate. My computer or person wants to go to the school, but it's blocked by this gateway. This gateway will check for your credentials, and also your IDs. In essence, it will check whether or not you are valid to be in this. It checks whether or not you are a valid user and can be connected to this network. Now, sometimes your computer may appear connected, but it's not actually connected to the network. It may appear so. It has reached the gateway position, but it hasn't gone into the network. So how do you force yourself in or request access? This can be done by typing the IP for your gateway. It is usually 192.168.1.1. This is the default gateway. In essence, this default gateway is basically the address to the portal to the network. Others may include 1.1.1 or other networks.